Hello, today we're going to be making a countdown in Blender 3. My name is Robert Fornoff. We're going to be using Python, so get ready for some fun. So here we go. We have the Blender instance here, and what we're going to do is we're going to go to scripting, or you can just drag down the toolbar here, and then we're going to do an import BPY. BPY, and you're probably wondering why import BPY. Well, that's what's imported here on this console editor. So you go to your terminal, Python console here, and then you just do import BPY, and that's already done for you. So that's importing a library for Blender. So what we want to do is we want to get the BPY dot, I think it's utils. Yeah, BPY dot utils dot um, time from frame, time to frame. I think it's called SMTP, SMTE from frame. Here we go. SMTE from frame. Okay. And then we'll say it's frame one. Okay. Um, I did not spell it right. Let's see. I'm using tab to do tab complete. Um, from frame. And then uh, frame, supposedly I'm looking at the instances. Um, Current scene is used if the frame FPS and FPS base are not used. So we'll just go with the current frame. So frame one, and then frame one is that, and then frame zero is that. We want it to end on that frame zero. So we're going to set our, go back to compositing and set our end frame. It's just the keypad, or sorry, this thing. Start frame to frame zero, end frame to frame. That is 30 frames per second. Well, let me make sure that I have the correct dimensions here. So I'm going to 30 frames per second. And then I'm not exactly sure if these are up to date, but I guess DVC Pro HD7 1080p. That's one of them. That's a format. It's rendering at 24 frames per second, which is cinematic, when at 30 frames per second. And originally I had it at 29.97, but YouTube kind of messed me up. They adjusted my frame rate without telling me, and now my frames are all screwed up. So I'm gonna just render this out for YouTube, 30 frames per second. And for this one, I want it to be uh, say that's fine. 1280 by 1080. That's fine. And when we render it out, nothing's going to happen because there's nothing set up. So let's go ahead and set this up so that this um, updates at every frame, and then sets it to text. So uh, text input, text equals blah blah blah. Text, yeah, there we go. Okay, so we want to get a text field from here. So we're going to do a shortcut. You can create it on the fly if you want, but make it an add-on, all this kind of stuff. But right now we're just going to create a text object, Shift A, text object, and we're going to find that in the terminal. Or the console. So you go do bpy dot context dot uh, selected object, and it selects objects, and it brings back an array of these. Now we want to set this one, so it's bpy dot objects dot text, and I want to put it in here. So what this does is this selects that object. So text object equals this. Now I want to select the body of that. So we say, so we'll just put this one here, here, and then text object dot body. There's data that's associated with it, and there's body, and it says text. So we want to equal like foo, and then it changes to foo. Okay, so you see how we did that? So we're going to copy this over and then move this to text object data dot body. Okay, now you're probably wondering, what's this all got to do with the text, and how do we set it to the text? Well, we just set it to text, and then we run this, and it sets it to, oh, there's an unexpected indent. So let me fix that. It's all over the place here. Now you can put these into functions and all this kind of stuff. Oh, there we go. And this looks all nice and neat. I am not going to put it into functions just so that I can, just yet, and then I might later on. So it has frame 0. So what happens if we go to frame 2? Does it render out frame 2? It does not. So what we want to do is we want to render this out, and no, it doesn't render out frame 2 because this needs to be frame current frame. So it's bpy.context scene. Let's make sure we have that. Yep. So scene dot, so it's a current scene, and then frame current. That's 17. So we want this to update every time the frame is updated. So I'm going to copy that, paste it over here. And then now when we go over here and say frame 17, it updates to frame 17. So let's see, what happens if we get to 30, 30? It does a mod and does 1. Okay, so this is going to be pretty standard for the milliseconds, or it's going to be a frame basically for this kind of things. It's not going to be milliseconds, it's going to be frames, which is fine. Most people don't care about milliseconds that much. If you wanted to do milliseconds, you could code it out so that it would count down the frames and seconds and that kind of stuff. Yeah, so you count down the seconds, and then you would go SMTPE in seconds, etc., etc. Anyway, we're just going to do frames for now and go from there. So we have our script right here. It's updating when we press the play button to the current frame. And let's go to the last frame and make sure it is the 10 minutes that we want. It's 18,000. Pretty sure it is. Let's double check. So we're going to go to current frame of 18,000, and then let's see. I'm going to go to 3D view. Here we go. And then this is not updating, so we're going to update it. So it's at 10 minutes exactly. We want this. We don't really want the 00 right in front of it because it's kind of like that's an hour, and we don't only want an hour. So we're going to chop those off. We're going to say text. We're going to just select the uh, 1, 2, 3. So that's 1, 2, 3 from the front. So actually that's 0, 1, 2 from the front, and then onward to select that text. So when we do that, well, maybe it's 3. Um, it cuts off that part for you. Python's really nice about that for indexing. So I'm just going to select that, so it's 10 minutes exactly. So what we're going to do is we're going to render it out to 10 minutes, and then we're going to rewind it so that it does a countdown. I do this because I have had problems in the past doing modulo and doing all this kind of stuff. I've done off by ones, and it hasn't been exactly accurate. This gets you an accurate time every time. So we're going to do this. Now, you're probably wondering, now, Robert, you're pressing the play button multiple times, and you're like, this is supposed to be playing back every single time. Are we expected to play this script back every single time and have it render out? Well, no, you're supposed to have a script do that for you. So the script is, let's see if I can do it from memory, and then I'll look it up if I can't. So bpy dot, let's see, it is handlers, bpy dot app dot handlers dot frame change pre, or yeah, pre. Or did I do post? So pre is before. So if the frame changes, it updates before. Post is fine. So it changes, then it updates the frame. That's fine. So frame change post, and then this post dot append, and then an object listed in the file. Okay, so this This whole thing, you can look it up on Google, look it up on references, that kind of stuff. This thing takes the entire thing here, which needs to be in a function now, and it registers it to the frame change post append here. So we want to actually remove this thing because we're going to be playing it multiple times. So remove, and this is going to be frame changer, and then this is going to be frame changer. And this is going to be if it's in there already. This is optional, but this is like the required part. So it's going to append a register handler. So every time the frame changes, it runs this script. So define frame changer. This is going to be a Python function now that we actually need one. And then I'm going to tab into this or four spaces, whatever, to get the what it does. So it sets the text basically, and technically I don't need um, text 3. I could do whatever, but it's there for clarity, so I'm keeping it in just as it is. Okay. Um, in other words, I could save a variable if I wanted to, but I'm not going to do that just for clarity. So basically, if we run the script, it says, what does it say? Frame changer is not defined. Okay, so we need to have this at the bottom of the script because Python does, if it's not in a class, it is sensitive to that kind of thing. So then it says uh, remove X not in list. Um, this is like optional, so we'll just leave that optional. So this runs, and then if I go left and right, okay, nothing quite happens. I think I need to have um, an event here, and let's see. Yeah, there you go. The event is what is needed. So make sure you have an event in your function. And also, if you want to learn more about this, you can copy and paste this. I can give the link below into Google. Google this, and it will give you lots of information that you need to get this working. Okay, so now I have it working. And let's go to compositing, or let's go modeling or layout. Let's play it, and we see that we have it working beautifully at roughly 30 frames per second, and this is good. Let's go ahead and adjust the text a little bit. I'm going to keep it running just for kicks. Center text, and then I'm going to change the font. So the font is like if you leave it at B font, that's something that's kind of a noobish mistake. Never leave it at B font. Agency FB, that's cool. There's impact. I think agency FB is fine, but it's a little bit. See how it's kind of jittering right there? You don't want it to jitter. So actually, I think I might be able to fix that if I do character spacing. It still jitters. Let's see. Oh, if I do the left side, it doesn't jitter. Okay, let's do the left side then, and just offset it by an empty. So I'm going to add a empty. Um, so let's add an empty, and this is going to be a spin. If you want it to spin, it's up to you. It's entirely up to you what you want to do. But if you want it to spin, you grab this and move it about center, and then um, you could do like lining up like just perfectly. Actually, I probably should do that. How you line up perfectly is you look at the dimensions, uh, and you look at the dimensions right here, approximately dimensions, and then you say x is divided by 2, so that's uh, 3.41 divided by 2, uh, negative, and then that gives you the exact halfway point right there. So that's what you want, and then you select your empty, Control P, parent, object. Now you can rotate this object, and then it'll do a rotation for you. So this is cool if you want to do, and you can do this like uh, pretty easily on the rotation Y. You can change it to frame times point, uh, let's see, 1. And then that's going to add a driver to it. And then times 0.05. This is not exact though. I haven't done any calculations for this, so you can't like loop it or anything like that. So this is like cool if you want to do a 3D walk around or whatever in EV and be like, oh hey, here's a countdown timer. That's great. Let's just do a static timer for now because this is going to add some complications later on. So let's go ahead and delete the driver. Alt, just change this to 0. And then we're going to basically we're going to gate this into a compositor, and we're going to have a small like thing around it. So how it looks now is actually I need to Control at 0 this. So looking at the camera is not where it should be. The camera should be at 0, 0, 0, and then we should pull out on the z-axis so we can get exact. And then uh, this is approximate. Y should be like about here. But we can get a better picture of this looking at the dimensions here, and that's y is 0.638. So y needs to be 0.638 divided by 2, 0.638 divided by 2. That'll give us a halfway point exactly. So we have our countdown here, our count up actually, and we're going to render it out as a PNG sequence or like a TIFF or whatever. OpenEXR if you really want to. We want to see how it renders. Renders out. Oh gosh, that's weird. It's rendering out as 4:3 ratio, so let me see if I can fix that real quick. Expect 3:2 ratio, sorry. So 16 by, or sorry, 1 by 1 should be good enough. Wait. Uh, be right back. I gotta look up formats. Okay, I looked up the dimensions. 3840 by 2160 is the approximate dimension for the max size on YouTube, or the approximate size on YouTube. I rendered it out. Renders looks great. It actually looks a bit gray and a bit less colorful. So what I've done in the past is I'll go through this. I've basically bumped this up to white and set the uh, emission to white. So now this is all white, or it should be white. Looks a little off. Change emission strength up. This is an EV, so I'm going to keep it in EV because that'll be a very fast render. And then you can render in cycles or whatever if you choose to later. So I'm going to put a little bevel around this in black. Okay. Now you could use freestyle. I like to use a compositing nodes for this. And also I want to change the background to transparent. So let's see if I can find that button. So it's under background, should be under film and then transparent. There we go. And then now it's transparent. This is a great place to be right here. So, and then I want to also change the background to black. So black and white right there. Actually, we can make that blue and light blue, white. Okay, but it's going to be transparent, so it's not going to really matter. So what we're going to do is we're going to save this because you always want to save these things. I'm going to save it under project, Blender, and then new folder slash time countdown. Okay. Yeah. So let's get rid of this one and probably get rid of those. Pressing T gets rid of those. Now I want to go into compositing, and this is not compositing, but I'll go ahead and drop down to compositor, and then click use nodes, and then this whole thing, I want to have we can make a glow, we can make a little bevel. I'll make a bevel first, and then maybe a glow if I feel like it. So let's see where we go from there. So um, there's a uh, let me look for this first. Hang on just a second. Okay, I found it without too much trouble. It's called dilate erode. So what this does is this basically takes a input, and I know it has a gray one. You just put the yellow one in there for the image, and you're good to go. And then have an output for viewer. So this one takes an input and uh, erodes it. So you see how it erodes it, so it's less than or greater than. Basically, it adds a little line across it. So basically, we're going to make these a little bit fatter, and then I want to make the inside. I can make the inside black, I guess, or white. So I do I like doing mixes. I've heard that you're not supposed to use mixes, but whatever. I do mix screen, and I heard that that's not the proper color, but you're just mixing black and white, so you're not gonna see much. So let's see how this looks. This is a mix here, and notice how it looks kind of like, uh, well, uh, it is not quite mixing because it's going to the viewer now. Let's go to the compositor, please. And then render the result. There we go. So notice how it's like black and white. That's great. I kind of want white on black. So I could figure out like the ins and outs of making black and white, or I could just do an invert node. Um, color invert, and then be done with it. And I think that's the best route to go. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. There you go. Invert. Looks like it's not exactly because it's inverting the entire thing, including the background. Let's see if I can grab that alpha and move it over here. Aha! So it does do an invert. Okay. There we go. Black on white. So, wait, we just had that. So invert doesn't exactly do what I want it to do, so I'm going to take a step back and then say I want it to, uh, I could recolor it on here, and I could do a color ramp. I think this is how I did it the last time, which was about 8 years ago. So color ramp, uh, this one, I want to be black this way and white this way. Um, what does that look like exactly? So I'm going to go to the viewer. It looks like this. It's not preserving the alpha at all. Um, so can't quite. Well, I guess you could do that. So you could do this, and then you could set the mask over it. So the mask would be there. Okay. And then could go into here and then go over that. So that looks like that. Kind of what I want, but I also want the alpha to be preserved. So let's see. There's one way to do the alpha. Um, the alpha is going way over there. I also need to dilate and erode the alpha as well. So let me go ahead and dilate and erode the alpha, and then let's see. There we go. Okay, so now they're like little sports numbers. This is exactly what I want. And you can, of course, play around with them and be like, no, I want them this way or that way, and you can play around with the steps and stuff like that. I'm going to leave it as is because this is down the rabbit hole enough where I want to be. So, with that said, let's go ahead and see what the render looks like. There we go. This is clipping a little bit, so I need to turn that down. And also, I actually wanted that to be black. So let's see. Um, the surrounding thing. So let me see if I can grab the black part. Um, so I downgraded the step for the alpha. So, oh, good. The clamp is working. And then I am going to grab the, I wanted that part to be black. So, I'm going to do that. let's see. So this one is black. This goes to here, which is white, and does a screen overlay, factor, clamp. Okay, it looks like the only way that we're going to get a black out of this is if I have a, well, let's see. Um, it's a lot of finagling. I'm probably just going to leave it for now, just to make sure that you get what you're coming here for, which is a countdown. So I'm going to leave this for now. Um, the background is transparent, so that's good. We do have our numbers, which is good. And you don't even have to do this to get the final result, which is good. So we're just going to leave that for now. And we're going to set our countdown to 10 minutes, and then we're going to reverse the frames. Uh, so you can only render it out forwards, I think. Um, might be able to render out another way. Actually, I'm thinking about it. I might have another way to do this. So if you do a file out, and then you output to temp slash uh, countdown, and then you output to that, and the image is going to be, where's that image setting? Um, it doesn't look like you can set anything else other than PNG, which is okay, I guess. Um, I wish you could set the channel to be not PNG. File output properties. There we go. Okay. So PNG is fine. TIFF is fine. OpenXR multi-layer is probably overkill. That basically sets one of these guys. It sets the image in alpha and all the other settings into there. But we're just going to do that anyway because it's cool. So file output to one of these, and then where's the composite render on every frame? That's another setting. So let me see if I can find that setting. I'll be right back. Okay, I found the button I was looking for. Is called auto render, but it's not doing what I wanted it to do. So we're just going to go back to layout, and I've noticed that there is a little bit of drifting in here. So I'm going to press G and then just hold down the middle mouse button, drag it out a little bit. It also looks like there's a little bit of shifting a little bit. It's kind of slanted over this way. Not sure if I want to fix that. Let's see if how it works. So yeah, let me go ahead and shift that. So that one would be let's see, 362 meters in dimensions. So 362 divided by 2. Um, Location x 3.62 divided by 2. Negative. Nope. Uh, yeah, I just eyeballed it last time. I'm going to do the same here. What I was doing is I was lining these all up. So this one, I think when I put it the empty. So this one actually, let me go ahead and see if it's centered. So this one is x0, x is 0, that's 0, and then 3.62, 3.62 divided by 2, uh, minus 1, or minus, okay, that's should be centered as best as it can be. And then let me go into here and Alt G, grab this, and let me make sure they both touch. They are very close to touching. So this is at 0. Let me make sure that these touch um, or are close to touching. So the boundaries are at least close. Um, yeah, so if they're both touching these sides, then they are that is centered. Um, maybe there's some offset here. Yeah. So I think I had some decimal offsets. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and move this up. Um, wait a second. I can move this down actually. Um, so y is 0.638. So negative 0.638 divided by 2. There. Let me make sure that it is, yeah, it looks centered. So that looks pretty centered. If I zoom in by pressing G in the middle mouse, they both touch, and the top and the bottom look centered. So, and this area is good. So, okay, so it's centered. No rotation, we're good. So, let's see what the output looks like. I'm going to render out a preview, and then we're going to play with the preview, and then the preview is going to be about 20% of that. So that looks kind of cool. Not gonna lie. We have the countdown here, and uh, we have it go all the way to blah blah blah. So it also takes 12 seconds to, or 0.12 seconds to render this. So that's good. You're gonna have to leave this overnight. So make sure you save it. Make sure you go to your output and then render out to where you want it to go. Countdown. Accept. Now you don't need the OpenEXR multilayer, although that's really cool and you want to use that for compositing later. You can just use PNG or whatever. PNG is fine. And then you want to make sure that's the only part in the countdown that you're saving. So save slash blah blah blah. If you have other things in the uh, folder, it will be kind of hard to select later on. Instead of selecting A, you have to shift select and all that kind of stuff. So make sure it's the only one in the folder, and then give it a go. RGBA is what you want because you have alpha in the transparency, and PNG saves the transparency. So this is going to be a little bit of a preview. It's going to be a little bit more boxy, but I can just show you where it's going to render out faster. So we do that, and I'll let you know when it's done. Thanks. Okay, and we're back. So I modified this a little bit. Scene is actually what is passed into the frame changer on the post append right here, and it's done automatically. So I just clean this up and put scene here instead of bpy.context.scene. Cleans it up a little bit. Also rendered it out, and let's check out the animation. So there you go. As you can see, it's a little choppy, but it is rendering up, which is good. So let's go ahead and close that. Okay, I'm just going to move to, let me see if I can close that, because there, well, I guess not. So I'm going to move to the sequence editor, and we're going to grab all the images, and we're going to reverse the frames. So I'm going to go into the, it's also called the video editor, I guess. So it looks like it's still trying to play back those frames. I might need to reset this. So let's see. Just hang on a second. Okay, my computer came back to life. Just a second. Okay, something weird with the rendering and stuff. So anyway, let's go ahead and go to scripting, and then video editing, and then here. And then I'm going to go ahead and Shift A, add image sequence, and then go down to the time countdown that I had. So it's under temp countdown, save. Here we go. Oh, looks like it saved in EXR as well. Not necessary, but whatever. So I'm going to select all, pressing A. and then filter by, arrange by size and date. Yeah, that's fine. Um, uh, name's fine. Sort by name. Okay. Add image strip. So this needs to get added right here. Shift S to snap it. And then if we look here, it looks like it's working fine. It is a little slow on the frame rate, but that's because it is what it is. And I thought for sure we had compositing in there. Did we not do that? Hmm. Looks like the file output. Sorry, I'm compositing there. Let me just check real quick to make sure that I did the compositor. Actually, it really doesn't matter. I just need to give an output. So let me go here. So there's that. That's probably because the alpha's out. So let me go ahead and reverse the frames. So I'm going to go to time. They changed a lot of these in the updates from 2 to 3. So I do know that I can probably do a reverse node probably. Let's see. Maybe not. Adjustment layer. Nope. Effect strip. Speed control. Let's see. Another way to do this is to actually literally select the frames and reverse them. And I'll do that if this doesn't work. So this is speed. No, we want looks like time would probably be a good thing to do for this. So time is there. So let's see. Strip offset, current frame here, source, color. There should be just a, there we go, reverse frames right there. Bam. Okay. So they made it easy for me. So I'm going to start it at 3 minutes exactly. So I'm going to press K to cut, and then zoom in, and then delete that first part, and then Shift S to snap. So it's going to go here, and let's see how it looks. Looks fine. Um, so there's your countdown, and then just render it out to AVI JPEG is easiest, but AVI FMPEG video is good too. You can also add sound as well, but I'm not going to do that here. Make sure the encoding is has audio codec on if you're adding sound. So FMPEG video, MPEG 4, H.264 looks great, and then let's render it out to the one before that. So let's go ahead and control F12, and I'll let you know when it's done. Okay, I actually stopped the render about halfway through because it was rendering blank frames, and I thought, oh my goodness, the headers wouldn't save, but it looks like they did. So that means that the video is created. Here's the final output. Skip ahead a little bit, 210, 157, blah blah blah, and this is going off of frames, so it's counting every single part of the 30 frames, and it looks like it's working. So that's good. Yeah, so it works on 30 frames. And that's how to make a countdown. And then you probably want to add something at the end because at the end it just drops off to 0 and then goes to a blank frame. You probably want to extend that frame or have something happen or something like that. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the tutorial on how to make a countdown sequence in Blender and Python. If you have any more suggestions on what I should make, please let me know. My name is Robert Fornoff, and thanks for watching.